Hey everybody, Bruce here with Traveling with Bruce. Welcome to my channel today. Today's date, April 23rd, 2020, and updates keep coming out from the cruise lines and from all kinds of other sources. Got news today on Royal Caribbean. I have news on Viking, Carnival, Celebrity, P&O, Cunard, and the French Shipyard. Thank you for subscribing to my channel, Traveling with Bruce. I really appreciate you guys subscribing to my channel, also giving my videos thumbs ups and sending me comments, letting me know what you think of my videos. Also, news that you are hearing about that you think I should know. Appreciate getting these updates from you all out there. Really appreciate it. Thank you also for subscribing and following my Facebook group page for Traveling with Bruce. If you don't know, a lot of us hang out on that site between videos. And if you'd like to become part of the Facebook group page, just ask to join it. I'll let you in. I administer it. Also, thank you those of you who are following us on Instagram. Over 750 followers on Instagram and counting. Absolutely incredible. Well, let's get to the news of the day here. The word on the street, back to the stock market nowadays. There's a lot of news coming out of Wall Street about these cruise lines. And inside tips and people in the know are kind of saying the same thing here, that a number of cruise lines are looking for additional cash. But I was surprised to hear today that Royal Caribbean was one of them. I didn't really think Royal Caribbean, I guess I should say Caribbean. I didn't really think Royal Caribbean was in need of extra cash because they already have about $3.2 billion of funds on hand or credit lines on hand. But the latest reports are starting to kind of circle that they are seeking and or are in discussions for at least a $600 million bond offering. And, that's another bit of cash. To give you an idea of what that means, the company right now is burning $400 million a month, not sailing. Without money coming in the front door, $400 million a month is going out, and that number has been dropped considerably from about the billion a month they were spending while in operation. So they've leaned out a lot, and I'm sure they're going to continue to work on this to try to reduce the cash outflow even more than $400 million a month. But there you go. $600 million in, $400 million out. That's another 1.5 months of survival. Can you believe that? Can you wrap your head around that number? I have a tough time with that. I did see an interview the other day with the president of Delta Airlines, and they were really touting the fact, this is a good news thing. They're only spending $15 million a day to stay alive. $450 million a month, almost $500 million a month they are burning in cash, and they're proud of themselves. I am obviously from an older world, from way back when, because $500 million in 30 days to me is unfathomable money. Gosh, that's just insane. Okay, the other cruise line that apparently is trying to raise cash, I did mention the other day that Norwegian is in discussions, but I heard today that even Viking Ocean Cruises, Viking River Cruises, those guys, there's talk that they too are looking to raise additional capital. Now, Viking is a private concern based in Switzerland. They have been making the kind of news releases that have to be considered good news releases lately. They've talked about, in the last couple of months, setting up the exploration ships. These are the ships that are sort of built with a reinforced hull for ice flows to go to the Arctic and Antarctica. They're also going to sail the Great Lakes with these exploration ships, and I think they're going to be a big hit. Those are coming out, I think, in 2022-23. And then just in the last month, they came out with an announcement that they're going to start cruising the Mississippi River. This is going to be a big move for them. I think it'll be a hit. Mississippi River cruising by Viking. You've got a very well-known brand name with operations in Europe and China already, and on the open oceans, now coming into the Mississippi, building brand new ships for those itineraries. That should be really interesting. But at the same time, for the last now 3 months, they have not been bringing in any money, or at least 2 months anyway, and they're not expected to bring in money for quite some time. So raising cash to build out the fleet is probably what's going to happen, and of course maintain the fleet they have. So how much they're raising and from whom and how and what, I don't know. We'll keep an eye on that. Other news, Carnival. It's about the Mardi Gras. This is the new LNG-powered cruise ship, the largest that Carnival has ever had built for itself. The ship is designed to handle 5,200 passengers, and it is, gosh, 3/4 to 80% completed. But the story is that the ship is delayed in getting finalized and finished because the shipbuilding yard in Finland has been on a total shutdown, lockdown. And social distancing takes place not only at home but also at work. And so there's virtually no work being done on the Mardi Gras right now. And every day that goes by is another day it can't hit the water. And Carnival has already canceled all of the opening ceremonies and the naming ceremonies and all that stuff. That's all been canned. They've canceled a bunch of early cruises already to the disappointment of many, many passengers. And now the story goes that even if you want to book a cruise on this ship, you can't actually even talk to them about booking a cruise until next March or April or later. Because apparently the latest rumor now is not only is the ship delayed, and I think it's certainly into the new year, but the booking numbers, I think they're going to across the fleet. And this isn't just a Carnival story, by the way. This is everybody. I have a suspicion that cruise lines are only going to book their ships up to a certain percentage of occupancy. And, the old days, which is 4 months ago, not uncommon. You would get on a ship and it would have 102 to 108% occupancy. How do you do that? With a family of 4, you got the 2 kids sleeping on, fold-outs or couches that turn into beds. You have a cabin that normally holds 2 people, now holding 4. Then you get a bunch of families on board. You're over 100% capacity. But the word now is as low as 60% capacity, down to 60%. So if a ship can hold 4,000, they might only go with 2,400 passengers and call it a day. They want to show passengers that, look, we're not going to just put you on like a bunch of sardines here in a sardine can. We're going to give you lots of room. We're going to limit the number of passengers on board, which limits, of course, lineups, which limits demands for everything across the board. And that might be what is being suggested of the cruise lines by the CDC and other entities out there, perhaps ports. Health authorities around the world. So the thinking here about the Mardi Gras is the ship was pretty well a sellout for every cruise that was being offered in the first 3 to 6 months of the ship's life. Now they've had to cancel the first 2 or 3 months of cruises, and they might have to cancel even more, and those folks will get priority to rebook, and then everyone else can come in behind it. But if the ship is going to go from 5,200 capacity down to, say, 3,000, 3,300 capacity, we're talking about maybe a year, maybe not even till next autumn that you can even consider getting anywhere near this ship. So this is going to be an interesting thing to watch. And I don't think this is going to be just for new ships. I think it's for all ships, all lines. We'll keep an eye on that. Question, of course, I have is, can you make money as a cruise line at 60% occupancy? The only way it'll really work out is if you raise prices. But right now the deals are being tossed around like crazy. All kinds of promotions are being offered. So I don't know. There's a real tug of war going on here. The Celebrity Apex. This is the sister ship to Celebrity Edge. The ship was completed, delivered to Celebrity. The ship is still sitting at the port next to the shipyard where it was built. It hasn't sailed a mile, and no date yet, no firm date as to when that ship will start sailing and where and how and what. So we're waiting for news on that one. A couple of cruise lines that made announcements today. P&O, the P&O cruise line out of the United Kingdom, and Cunard, they came out. First of all, P&O have stated that they will not be cruising until at least the end of July. Cunard has come out and has said we're not cruising till the end of July, and as a matter of fact, not the end of into August, and even the Queen Elizabeth will not be sailing until September. And so Cunard is really shut down for the long haul, and P&O is joining her. And I think you're going to hear this across the board. These cruise lines out of the UK, they need to sail to basically European ports. And I think these cruise lines in Europe are being told by Germany, Finland, Sweden, all the other countries, France and Italy and Spain. Guys, these ports, we're not opening for the entire summer. We're just not going to open up. We're on lockdown here. We have hundreds of thousands of cases of the virus here, tens of thousands of deaths. We're not opening up. And there's just no way flights will be allowed, ports will be open. And I think the cruise lines are just being realistic with their passengers to say, look, folks, don't plan on a summer vacation this year on a cruise ship. It's just not going to happen. We're hoping for the fall, and of course the fall is what we call shoulder season, where typically cruises are on a deal because kids are back to school and not too many folks are traveling at this point. So it's lousy timing all around, and P&O and Cunard are telling the world over there this is what's happening. By the way, these two cruise lines are owned and operated by Carnival, and so a division of Carnival is already telling passengers we're not cruising until August and September. How much longer do you think it'll be for Princess, Holland America, Carnival itself to follow in these footsteps? I mean, it's only a matter of time. Last story has to do with the French shipyard known as the Chantier de l'Antique. I hope I pronounced that correctly. This shipyard just finished building the Celebrity Apex. They did build the Celebrity Edge. This is the cruise yard that builds out ships for Royal Caribbean, the Oasis class. They're announcing that in the next 4 days, they are going to reopen on a limited basis. They're expecting to reach 50% capacity based on testing results and the numbers. They want to start getting workers back in there, but they're going to be limiting how many workers can work in any one area of the shipyard. There's going to be some serious social distancing done here. The ships that are on the are on the assembly line would be the MSC Virtuosa and the Royal Caribbean Wonder of the Seas, which is that Oasis class ship. It'll be the fifth one. And then Celebrity Beyond, which will be the third version of the Celebrity Edge. It'll be the third sister. I know that in France and in Germany and in Finland and in Italy, they all want to get started back to work. Everybody wants to go back to work and make money. But it has to be done safely. It has to be done under controlled conditions. And so all of these shipyards are starting to announce very limited work schedules and recalling contractors and all these other folks. But I can tell you that every cruise ship under construction out there, they're going to be delayed. There's just no way. Now the other question will be, what about the ships that are on the order book that haven't been started yet? What's going to happen, say, with Norwegian and the Leonardo class? There's, I think, 6 of those on order. Are they going to cancel that order or delay it by a couple of years? Because after all, these cruise lines are scrambling to raise cash just to survive now, the downturn. If the downturn stops and we start to come back, some analysts out there are saying that only 25 to 35% of all cruise ships in various cruise lines will actually be sailing in the first 3 months of the comeback. The entire corporation is going to try to live off of the revenue of a quarter to a third of their ships. That means they're still bleeding money. There's just no way that these cruise lines can make money with only a third of their fleet operating. Will they even want new cruise ships in the next 2 or 3 years? Because they may just want to delay delivery of these, upwards of $1 billion and a quarter dollars per ship. They may want to, hold back on the delivery. On the other hand, in Europe, there's a lot of assistance being offered cruise lines over there. The kind of cruise assistance I'm talking about would be like a state funding to have a ship built, because the country knows that if they can keep, say, 15,000 workers at a shipyard employed, building a ship that will take 2 years to finish, that's a wise investment to make rather than have these folks on unemployment and getting restless and frustrated. And we're talking votes here, votes and jobs. So the cruise lines may be offered, artificial financing rates as low as zero to literally build a ship with zero interest for the first 5 years you have the ship. This type of thing. I mean, I can really see countries getting aggressive to keep people working. This is not a North America thing, as most of you know who are following me from North America. It's not the way things operate over here. But in Europe, it is not uncommon to have states guarantee loans for capital projects done by private companies that involve a lot of employees from certain regions of Europe. And the Papenburg shipyard and the one in the Turku shipyard in Finland, these come to mind to me, that I see announcements from time to time where cruise lines are able to raise capital or to borrow cash, in effect, through state funded bond offerings at really attractive interest rates. Because in Europe, the interest rates are even lower than in the U.S. Anyway, we'll stay on this. I'll keep following these stories. Everything is in flux right now, as all of you know. Things are changing daily. There's no rhyme or reason to where we're headed, when, what, why. But we'll stay on these stories and take it from there. Thanks again for subscribing to my channel, giving my videos thumbs up, sending me comments, becoming a Facebook follower, and following me on Instagram. Holy moly. Love it all. In the meantime, stay warm, stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll talk to you later, everybody. Bye for now.